Let's look at an example of the system prompts for a caller ID visit call-in. At the beginning of the visit, the caregiver clocks in by calling the automated verification system from the patient's phone. The system automatically prompts the caregiver,
"Welcome to HHAeXchange. Press 1 for call-in. Press 2 for call-out."
and the caregiver enters 1 to indicate that this is a call-in. Then the system prompts the caregiver again.
"Enter your assignment ID."
The caregiver enters their assignment ID. The assignment ID is also called the time and attendance PIN. The system then asks the caregiver to reconfirm their assignment ID. When the caregiver reconfirms, the system provides a confirmation.
Your call-in has been successfully registered. Goodbye.
Now here's an example of the system prompts for a visit call-out. At the end of the visit, the caregiver clocks out by calling the same verification system number from the patient's phone. The system prompts the caregiver,
"Welcome to HHAeXchange. Press 1 for call-in. Press 2 for call-out."
and this time the caregiver enters 2 to indicate that this is a call-out. Then the system prompts the caregiver,
"Enter your assignment ID."
and the caregiver enters their assignment ID. Then the system prompts the caregiver to record the duties that were performed during the visit.
"Please enter the duty ID."
The caregiver enters the duty ID of the first duty performed.
"Please enter the next duty ID."
If there was more than one duty performed, the caregiver enters additional duties one at a time as the system prompts. Certain duties may require additional prompts for more information. If a particular duty was refused by the patient, the caregiver presses the star key before entering the duty ID to record the patient refusal. After entering all of the duties performed, the caregiver enters 3 zeros and the system provides a confirmation.
Your call-out has been successfully registered. Goodbye.
The mobile app provides a schedule of all of a caregiver's patient visits on the caregiver's smartphone. Let's compare this information with the calendar and visit information in the application. Notice that the mobile app schedule includes all of the visit information, including the patient name, the start and end times of the visit, and the plan of care duties. The mobile app allows the caregiver to clock in and clock out and to record all of the duties that are required for the visit without needing to make telephone calls or to fill out paper timesheets. So how does the GPS mobile app work? To clock in at the beginning of the visit, the caregiver logs into the mobile app. The caregiver then selects the agency, the current visit, and clicks on the Clock In button in the app. Then the caregiver selects GPS as the method of verification. To clock out at the end of the visit, the caregiver once again logs into the app. This time the caregiver selects Clock Out and a list of duties for the visit is displayed. The caregiver then records which duties were performed, which duties were not performed, and which duties, if any, were refused. When this is complete, the app will indicate a successful clock out. The mobile app also allows the caregiver to upload any notes, images, and/or voice recordings. Now let's go through the actual clock in and clock out process using the mobile app. At the beginning of the visit, the caregiver logs into the mobile app from a valid GPS address in the patient's profile. The caregiver then selects today's schedule. The scheduled visits for the day will display, and the caregiver selects the current visit. Then the mobile app will display the patient name, the visit duration, and the duties. There are buttons for clock in and clock out. The caregiver clocks in by selecting the Clock In button and then selects the GPS button as the verification method. A screen then displays indicating that the clock in was successful and the caregiver selects OK. In order to clock out, the caregiver returns to the mobile app screen and selects Clock Out. The app then displays the plan of care duties that were to be performed. The caregiver checks off the duties performed, and if a duty was not performed, the caregiver leaves both circles blank. If a duty was refused, the caregiver selects the red circle next to that duty. And for some agencies, a drop box may appear for the caregiver to select a reason for the refusal. When finished, the caregiver selects the Save button at the top right corner of the screen. Once confirmed, the clock in and clock out confirmation times display on the schedule. If the times match the actual appointment times, they will appear in green. If the clock in and clock out times are different, they will appear in red.